Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. My dear sisters and brothers, it is so wonderful to join you from the banks of Mother Ganga, from the laps of the Himalayas, from Parmarth Niketan Rishikesh, India, for this special webinar on the tradition of fasting in world religions. Beautiful topic, especially during Ramadan time. And especially is being organized by the World Federation. I'm glad to join our revered spiritual leaders and distinguished speakers, as well as our global family all over the world. Today, when we speak about fasting, in the context of the pandemic, it is especially relevant because it is a powerful medium to help us connect back to the source of our one humanity. In fact, most of the religions of the world recommend fasting as a religious practice to help us get closer to God, to have piety, purity, and divinity and chastity in our life. In Hinduism, especially, there is a great emphasis on habitual and voluntary fasting with the intention of self-purification. Fasts in Hinduism are observed on special days or festivals, sometimes regularly once a week, or on Ekadashi, which is the 11th lunar day, twice a month, or for 9 days of Navratri. Sometimes fasting is even observed for 21 days or 40 days at a stretch. Myself, when I was in the forest, I was 8 when I left my family, and I observed fast for several times. Not for only occasion what we have festivals, but many times just for gain piety and purity. In essence, fasting is a regular practice in the Vedic culture as a means of spiritual connection, introspection, physical health, healing, and harmony. In addition, it is also recommended that when we come out of a fast, we do it slowly and gently. First with fruits and juices, then by eating lightly cooked vegetables or khichdi, which is a simple mixture of rice and lentils, which is very light and healing. And there are many other ways also. One should not binge or overeat, so that the benefit of fasting as well as the energy gained is conserved. Hence, fasting has been used for millennia by our rishis, our saints, and the sages in order to purify their bodies, minds, and souls, and to bring every cell of their bodies into connection with the divine. Fasting is an excellent process of self discipline. It is one of the quickest, easy, safest, and best ways to rid the bodies of toxins. And fasting also brings chitta shuddhi, bringing clarity of our mind. And another way, which is very special point, I wanted to mention that before even we begin fasting, in our scriptures, in the Yajurveda, there's a very beautiful mantra which says, Om Agne Vratpate Vratam Charishyami Tachkeyam Tanme Sadhyat Radhyatam Idam Aham Amritat Satyamupaimi. I can go on and on, but time is very short, which means, O Almighty God, please give us the strength and the willpower to complete this fast as an offering to you. Lead us from untruth to truth. Through this fast, may we give up our vices and take up more virtues and cultivate good habits. There are many perspectives I can explain about fast, but even Maharishi Charak, the pioneer of Ayurvedic sciences, when he was asked by someone about how to live a healthy life and harmonious life, beautifully he answered, Mitbhuk, Hitbhuk, and Ritbhuk, which means eat less, eat sattvic, fresh and healthy food, and finally eat seasonal food and local and organic food. In Hinduism, the word for fasting is upvas or vrat. Upvas or vrat. It is interesting that neither word specially refers to food. They are both spiritual words. Upvas literally means sitting near to God. Fasting is a way of sitting near to God. So, through fasting, our bodies physically become lighter. When we feel light in our bodies, then our concentration and receptivity increases. So when we go to sit near God, we are focused, available, receptive, and ready to receive God's light. Then when we are in God's light, then we are connected with the divine, with the powerhouse. So it is very simple. Eat light, feel light, sit in the light, to ultimately become one with the light. Because it is in God's divine light that one can begin to contemplate, introspect, and go within. There is a beautiful mantra in our Vedic tradition, which I sang in the beginning, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. There is a prayer to God to bring us from falsehood to truth, from darkness to light. But what is this darkness we speak of? It is the darkness of our ego, of our greed, our jealousy, our grudges, and our expectations. Adi Shankaracharya beautifully shares Koham Kastvam Kuta Ayata. The song beautifully explains who are you, where you have come from, and it goes on, who is your mother, who is your father, who has given you this birth, and goes on, and leads us to contemplate on the purpose of life. So life is a journey from Koham, who am I, to Soham, I am that. From Koham, who am I, to I am that, Soham, to Shivoham, I am one with the divine. This is the purpose of upvas or fasting, to understand that it is a powerful spiritual tool for self identification and self inquiry. Through self inquiry, we ask ourselves, where do we stand? Whether we are becoming bitter or better, whether I am living in peace or in pieces, whether I am set or upset. Today, everything is set in our life, but we are upset. Ultimately, this process of self inquiry leads us to self realization. During fast, we often conserve our energy with less physical activities. Instead, we practice yoga, meditation, and pranayama. We also study the scriptures and practice swadhyaya, means the self study. While fasting, we understand ourselves also. Another important practice while fasting is to observe silence in order to deepen our experience. So, the practice of restraint and self control is not just what we eat through our mouths, but what we speak with our mouths. That is also through our tongues. This is very important. This leads us from tongue management to thought management, because our thoughts are the tickets to our life's destination. In our culture, fasting is also a powerful weapon of ahimsa, non-violence, satyagraha, fighting for equality and justice. For example, Mahatma Gandhi has been known for fasting several times in his life for up to more than 21 days. It was his complete samarpan, dedication, surrender, and faith in God that allowed him to undertake this fast to bring out social change and social justice. Swami Vivekananda said, Atmano mokshartham jagatahitaya cha, the path of my liberation is through the path of all of creation, the service of all of creation, which means the natural outcome of our connection to God is to see Him and serve Him in all of His creation. ये पहला सबक है किताबे खुदा का कि मखलूक सारी है कुनबा खुदा का. Our mantras share Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, reminding us, may all be happy, may all be healthy. Thus, they speak to our inherent allness, oneness, togetherness, and inclusiveness. It includes not only all human beings, but all living beings. This is why so many people choose to practice vegetarianism, because this is the easiest and quickest way to keep our bodies pure, healthy, and to also protect our environment. Hence, in closing, fasting is an inherent part of our culture, our value system, and our traditions. And it connects us with our nature. This is why during many of our fast, we worship trees, plants, our sacred rivers, the sun. It means we respect them, because we are made up of these very 5 elements that exist in nature. This is a beautiful teaching in our scriptures that says, Mata Bhumi Putroham Prithivya, which means the earth is our mother and we are her children. Therefore, we must pledge to protect our earth, our air, our soil, our water, in order to have pure, healthy, and nourishing food. Finally, when we protect our culture, our nature, then automatically our future is protected, because the nature of our future is dependent on the future of our nature. Thank you once again for the organizers for organizing such a beautiful webinar on this vital and important topic of fasting. I especially give my thanks to Dr. Maulana Rashid Kalbe Sadiq Saab also. Because of him, I was informed and invited for this webinar. I give my thanks to him also. I have these beautiful plants that I will give you virtually today. Once again, thank you, and I invite you, when you are here, I'll give you, actually I will present you this beautiful plant, and I give my best wishes for this conference, for this webinar. Thank you, and thank you for inviting me.